G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. It's not AM, but it's PM that I'm delivering this vlog to you today, and I'm up here at a place known as Little Beach at Port Stephens. It's sunset, and just thought I'd go on a walk and talk and see what we can learn from today's book summary, which is entitled Great Mental Models by Shane Parrish. A book which looks into how we make decisions, the thought processes that we engage, and how we can look at improving things to help make better decisions and lead us to a better life. So the author kicks off with a lovely quote to put us into the mood and to put things into perspective, where he says that you can't improve if you don't know what you are doing wrong. It's a very profound statement, that. And if you just look back over your life, our parents, our friends, people around us, in many ways have tried to protect us and to keep us happy and comforted. But in some ways that is good, but in other ways they have caused issues for people, because if you don't know that what you're doing is not productive, doesn't serve you, and is causing you issues, then you're not going to be in a position to address it and to become a better version of yourself. So what the author is basically telling us at the outset is that we need to be honest with ourselves, and we need to have people surrounding us that have our best interests at heart and have the courage to tell us when we're doing something which is not, I guess, pointing us and progressing us in the right direction. And I guess there's a fine line between too much advice, too much guidance, and not enough guidance, which is a topic for another vlog, I'd say. But let's just go through this book summary and see what else we can pick out of it, because the author goes on to say that our mental models are a toolkit, and they can be the best toolkit or the worst toolkit in our lives, because we've got it at hand to help us make decisions. And quite obviously, if you've got a good toolkit with good mental models, then you're going to be making better decisions than if you've got a toolkit with rubbish mental models that are just going to cause you grief and cause others around you grief as well. Because when we go back and look and examine each and every person's life and all the experiences we've been through, all the things that we've had in our lives have in some way, shape or form shaped us. They've shaped the way we think, they shaped the way we behaved, they shaped the way we respond to people, to problems, to challenges. And each and every person has had a different past, is currently experiencing a different present. I'm here, you're where you are, and no doubt we're all going to have very different futures as well. So we've all got different slithers of reality which help shape our lives and make us into the person that we currently are. But regardless of what happens, we need to take responsibility and accountability and make sure that we're providing our mind with the best thinking devices, the best mental models, the best tools, I guess you could say, that we can, so that we deliver, that we experience the best outcomes from the incremental and individual decisions that we make on a daily basis. So the first formal point to come out of this book, as you can see, we've got a magnificent sunset. I'll just head up the other end of the beach, then walk back into the sunset. I think that'll be productive. So the first formal point to come out of this book is where the author says that it's extremely important and critical that we know our competencies and our vulnerabilities. We need to know them very well, because they are the keys to our success. And on this topic, I guess we all know that the ancient Greeks, Socrates, was very big on knowing thyself, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses. We've heard it time and time again. But I guess one of the big challenges, one of the big realities, one of the big reality checks for each and every one of us is that a lot of people don't have the courage to dig in to their strengths and weaknesses, because it is very confronting and it is very challenging. But as the author says, it's a necessity. You need to know what you're good at. You need to know what you're not good at, so that you can leverage your abilities and focus your energies on doing the things that are going to have the biggest bang for the buck. And as you can see, we've got some dolphins a couple of meters off the shore here. How wonderful is that? How beautiful is that? There you go. We didn't even time that. But we've got dolphins 3 meters offshore. We'll just keep on walking up the beach, just videoing them and bringing them to you live. They don't get any closer than that, do they? I'll continue my book summary as we get round the point here. But a couple of meters offshore, a couple of dolphins. I think they'll get lost there in the current. But we'll continue our book summary. But that was a wonderful, an absolute wonderful distraction to keep us going. So knowing your competencies and knowing your vulnerabilities is a key to success. But sometimes you need to be in the right place at the right time to be able to get those beautiful surprises. I just can't believe it. I absolutely just can't believe it. Having those dolphins a couple of meters offshore was an absolute bonus. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful was that? Anyway, so I've been here many times, and I know that late in the afternoon the dolphins do come past, but they don't come past all the time. You need to be lucky as well, but they're out there frolicking as well. Let me just get out of the buffeting wind and continue my book summary, because the author then goes on to say that as we repeat things, we get more accustomed to them, and we develop a thing called a circle of competence. So we need to know what is important and what we're good at, and of course, as we said before, knowing what the positives and negatives are, to save us the pain and suffering along the way. Because if you don't know what you're good at, or if you overinflate the things that you're good at, you're going to kid yourself and you're going to have problems along the way, I guess, is the key message coming out of this book summary. So the next thing that the author talks about is that we shouldn't allow our ego to cloud our judgment of what we're good at and what we're not good at, because we can't all be world champions at everything. And one of the biggest issues that people face is when they think that they're good at something and they're not, that they're just kidding themselves and they're just, I guess, wiring themselves up for pain and suffering. So there are times that we need to know when to seek help and support from others, and that in itself takes a lot of courage, because our egos, as the author says, don't allow us to see our weaknesses and overinflate the things that we think that we're good at. So the second formal point to come out of this book summary is where the author says that it's important to understand and to learn how to efficiently and effectively solve problems. And the best ways to solve problems is to look at the underlying cause, and by practicing a technique known as inversion. Most people approach problems, as the author says here, most people approach problems the wrong way around. They alleviate symptoms rather than addressing the causes and effect. So the author says that you're better off investing time in preventing rather than curing or maintaining a situation. So prevention is better than cure. We hear it all the time, we understand it. It's not rocket science, but sometimes we need to keep on reminding ourselves about the bleeding obvious, I guess is one way of putting it, and to work and to put our efforts and our time and our investment into the elements that are going to give us the biggest bang for our buck. So inversion, as this author talks us in terms of problem solving, is where we go to the first principles, where we turn a problem on its head, upside down, put it into a reverse scenario, and then look at it. Say, well, if you look at it, what do I have to do to fail? What do I have to do to stuff this up? So you go to the end point and saying, what are all the things that have to happen for me to stuff something up? And then once you've looked at it from that angle, then you work backwards, and then you try and identify what the pitfalls are and avoid the dumb mistakes. We all make mistakes, but sometimes the most powerful thing that we can do is to try and avoid the dumb mistakes, and to avoid doing and performing the dumb mistakes over and over again. So the last point which comes out of this book is where the author talks about the importance of thinking long term before you make a decision, and to double check it in your mind. If you've got a big decision to make, the best thing to do is to sleep on it. Give yourself some time to mull over it, and to look at the long-term consequences, the first, second and third level consequences of the decision or the actions that you're about to take. Don't just do something and just drift into this, that and the other. Don't dabble. Give it some thought. Spend some time trying to decide and to role play what is going to happen if you do A, B and C, because by sitting and thinking about it, you can virtually see the outcomes. The future never presents itself, as they say. The future never presents itself unannounced. So if you give yourself some time to identify and to think about the first, second and third level consequences of any decision that you make, it may put you in a better position to make better decisions. Decisions that are productive, decisions that are resourceful, decisions that are empowering, and decisions that will serve you. So let me just go under the jetty here. As we can see the sunset over there. I'm just walking under the jetty. Haven't been able to walk under this jetty for years. But what's happened up here at Nelson Bay, at Little Beach, is they've extended the boat ramp, which has changed the flow of water and the sand banking, and it's made it a little bit shallower here, which enables the tide to be a little lower from this point of view. But I'll just finish off this book summary. I'm at the 16-minute mark, so it's getting away from me. So as we said before, it's important to think long term about the decisions that you're making or about to make, and to assess the long-term consequences and balance the long-term consequences with the short-term benefits. A lot of people get enticed to make rash decisions, to enjoy the short-term consequences, only to look back over time and be disappointed and ask themselves, what the hell was I thinking? So the last point that the author talks about is we need to do or incorporate second order thinking, and to ask yourself the question, is this leading me closer or further from my goal? So it's all about having the right mental models, the right thinking models to be in a position to be, I guess, productive with your thinking and with your action plan. But as you can see, it's a beautiful afternoon here, and I'm just finishing off this book summary, and I thank you once again for joining me in 2022, where I will continue to deliver book summaries, hopefully one on a daily basis. I won't do as many as I did last year, so I don't have as much time and as many resources available to me, but we'll see. We'll see where time or where this journey leads us in 2022. So I think that's it. So thank you very much. I look forward to coming to you from a different place, from a different location, where we showcase the beauties of this wonderful country called Australia, and we can learn and overlay messages of empowerment, OPE, where we can learn something new, something productive where possible, and see where it leads us. So Yassas, take care, and it's Jim from Jim's 5am Club, signing off from Little Beach up here at Nelson Bay. Bye for now.